This is a story told from Amy's perspective, a lady in her 30s. She is a staunch supporter of the Siberian ideal, which maintains that a woman's romantic life should inexorably lead to the institution of matrimony at some point in her life. This is a classic example of solipsism. The individual in question is under the impression that there is no one else in the world with whom they may have a romantic relationship. She is behaving in a manner that is typically associated with women, which is that she is concentrating entirely on her personal requirements. It is not difficult to find eligible men to date. Nevertheless, if you are in your 30s and all the good ones are taken, it is only natural that you will stop dating anyone. Even if you're in your 30s and the only thing excellent guys care about is having sexual encounters, you won't be able to find a partner since they won't be interested in you. Unfortunately, they aren't seeking for somebody like you to join their team. If there are no boys around for the girls to interact with, then they will all behave in the same manner. Even though it might look like all of the men who might be interested in dating her have moved out of the neighborhood, there are actually quite a few men who are still residing there. Nevertheless, they are not interested in dating her. Now that we have that out of the way, shall we get started? The author states early on in the piece, "I don't stress too much over meeting the proper guy soon." Citation needed. When I was younger, I had a lot of time on my hands, so I just assumed that everything will work out in the end. Now that I'm back to being single in my 30s, I see that I should have made a commitment to a great guy as soon as I discovered him, but I procrastinated and lost too much time doing so. To put it more succinctly, this is the reason I'm going crazy right now. I gave careful consideration to what she had to say to the effect that I should not be too concerned about the situation. When I was younger, I had a lot of time that was not planned out in any particular way. The stunning young women of this country have the mistaken belief that they have an endless amount of free time. When a young woman becomes engaged between the ages of 20 and 22, the people in her life may find it difficult to comprehend the motivations behind her desire to get married at such a young age. Sometimes her friends may criticize her decision to join, saying things like, "You're still young and white if you simply hung around." But she always sticks by her choice. These are both investigations that are based on accusations. My pool of potential dates shrunk without my knowledge as a result of the fact that I spent some time recovering from the end of a serious relationship that I had been in for a few years. During that period, I was in a relationship that lasted for several years. I didn't become aware that I had a severe issue until I was getting ready to get back out there on the dating scene. It would appear like everyone I come in contact with is either already attached to someone else or is not the type of person I would be interested in dating in any case. She is not being honest when she states that she needs time to recover after having casual sex with a number of different men in a short amount of time because she has had sex with multiple men in such a short amount of time. She would like for us to assume that during her time in the city she was cooped up in her apartment the entire time, never leaving the building and having no contact with anybody else. Young women frequently ask themselves, "I haven't been in a relationship for the past 3 years, what does she think?" This is a popular line of inquiry among this age group. Improving your skills will give you a better chance of success with the ladies. Despite the fact that she claims to be patiently waiting for the one, she has been sexually active with a number of different men in the meantime. In this day and age, it is not difficult at all for women to have sexual adventures with males they have never met because of the advancements in modern technology. I'm so sorry to say this, but I can't think of a single wonderful man who isn't already taken. When I was younger, I was close with a wide range of wonderful guy partners from all different walks of life. At one point or another, each and every one of them was purchased, regardless of whether or not they were the most impressive or shown the greatest potential. Although I have no doubt that there are wonderful single men in the world, I have the impression that there are a lot less of them when I was younger than there are now. She is dissatisfied with the fact that the lovely men who had shown interest in her while she was in her 20s didn't wait for her to stop having sexual relations with undesirables before moving on to other partners. There are many eligible bachelors in the world today, but you won't find them with ladies older than the age of 34. Instead, they are most likely to be seen with younger women in the age range of 23 to 24. On the other hand, the number is far lower now than it was when she was younger. This is related more to who you are as an individual than it is to changes in the dating market. This deep-down thinking is what has resulted in a smaller pool of potential suitors for women to choose from among males. Let me look this up for you. It says that the days of the majority of people being in committed partnerships are long gone. The constant dissolution of relationships during that time period gave the impression that nothing could be relied upon. On the other hand, the vast majority of people in today's society have at least one significant other person in their lives. These days, it seems as though everyone is in a rush to put their lives in order and find some sort of permanent residence. In point of fact, I am the complete contrast. I am only now discovering my individuality and freedom, and I am looking for another free person who can help me find my way. I am looking for someone who is not tied down by responsibilities. I have spent a significant amount of effort over the past 20 years alienating myself from people who were significant to me, just to realize now that it's possible that I shouldn't have done so. I regret having spent so much time in this manner. Now that I'm in my 30s, it seems as though all of my friends are getting married, and many of my friends from back home have been married for decades. A handful of them have gone through the process of getting married and then divorcing multiple times. A change has taken place in comparison to the previous state of affairs. People who live in cities are more likely to pause for a few moments longer than those who live in the suburbs in order to properly ponder the consequences of their actions. Now that I've reached the age when I can get married, a few of my friends here are starting families of their own by getting married and having children. When she states that her friends have been married for a very long time, she is implying that they made the right decisions, that they were married at a young age, and that they are now content in their marriages. Because she has no interest in having children, she doesn't feel like she fits in with the rest of society. This makes her feel out of place. It's fine if she doesn't want kids, but she needs to be aware that most men won't marry her if she doesn't want to have kids. If she doesn't want kids, most men won't marry her. You have no right to complain at your age that guys aren't interested in dating you since you don't want kids or a family, so you have no right to complain about men not being interested in dating you. The only accessible single men are either very young or have recently been divorced. There are no older single men. Dating someone who has been married and divorced in the past is not a problem for me as long as I am certain that they are devoted to a long-term relationship. On the other hand, as time goes on, every one of us begins to bring a greater and greater number of things with us. That is just partially accurate, but hey, at least you got something, right guys? You are not appealing to the kind of men who have what it takes to be successful, so don't waste your time. She is making it appear as though the only men who are accessible are those who are young, men who have been divorced, men who have past sweethearts, and men who have been injured. With that, I have finished all of the tasks that were assigned to me for the day. When it comes to serious men making an effort to propose to girls of 24 years old, I believe that 80% of guys will be able to relate to this. They will turn it down because they want to date men who are more attractive and successful financially, and then they will complain about the choices they made in their lives when they are in their mid-30s. The vast majority of these ladies will reject it because they want to date men who are more attractive and successful financially.